Hello, everyone, and welcome to ApexToOval for your weekly motorsports news recap. Today's just a solo episode today. It's just me. Back. Some scheduling issues, so I'm here by myself. So let's get right into it then. Today's episode, we have 2 NASCAR articles. We have 2 F1 articles and 2 IndyCar articles. We're finally back with IndyCar. The Indy 500 is coming up, so we got some articles for that. Let's start with NASCAR. Chris Buescher in RFK Racing was hit with a massive penalty. Chris Buescher and the team were hit with a 60-point deduction, $75,000 fine, and their crew chief, Scott Graves, was suspended for 2 weeks. The reasoning for this massive penalty? Well, the number 17 violated sections 14.1.c, which is the overall assembled vehicle rules, and they also violated 14.5g, front bumper cover, and RFK has said they're going to be appealing the penalty. Now, I forget if the penalty is going to be appealed today or sometime this week. Later this week, I forget, but we will update you next podcast on that. Personally, I think that, in NASCAR, there's just some sort of just weird thing they have with very minor changes to the car that could be a penalty. Sometimes the penalty is justified, right? But other times during a race, something will happen and a penalty will be given for something that shouldn't have been given a penalty. This one, it looks like they should have been given the penalty if what they say is true, but RFK is going to be appealing it, so I will be happy to see what they say the reasoning for their violations are. On to our next NASCAR article. Kurt Busch, Ray Hendrick, Harry Gant, and Humpy Wheeler make the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Busch and Gant made it on the Modern Era ballot, Hendricks made it on the Pioneer ballot, and Humpy Wheeler made it on the Landmark Award. I'm very excited for Kurt Busch. Now, I never got to watch Kurt Busch race. I do know that his career was tragically ended early due to, I believe, the next-gen car and a very bad crash, but at the start of the next-gen era. But I'm happy to see him get in. I love watching his when he was on track. There's some very good ones. If you haven't heard of Kurt Busch's microphone skills on track, look it up, take a listen. They're very funny. Same thing with Kyle Busch. They're hilarious on the mic. I do not know who Ray Hendrick, Harry Gant, or Humpy Wheeler is, but what a name Humpy Wheeler is. Like, that's a name. But yeah, they all make the Hall of Fame. Bob Pockrass actually voted all of them, which is really funny. So good to you, Bob Pockrass. On to F1. The F1 swearing ban is no more. The FIA has made an agreement with Formula One where there will no longer be a 1-month ban for excessive swearing, and along with this €10,000 fine, that is now only €5,000. There was also new parameters put in place where drivers are and are not allowed to swear. They are allowed to swear in the car during races and during practices or quali. And right after they get out of the car in interviews. Keyword, right after they get out of the car. If they've been out of the car for a bit, they're not allowed to swear. They're not allowed to swear specifically in press conferences. So if you know on Thursday you got media day, you have the press conferences there, they're not allowed to swear there. And personally, I think this is a really big step in the right direction from the FIA. There was a lot of backlash that came with the F1 swearing ban and the punishments that came with it. I'm very glad that you are not going to be banned for a month if you swear too much. Like, that was way too aggressive. Way too aggressive. I mean, me and Jack, I think the first or second week we did this podcast, we talked about like the F1 swearing punishments, and it was like there's too much. Swearing is not bad, especially in high pressure situations. It's not bad. So I'm glad they took away the 1-month ban. Glad they took half the fine away. Although they really shouldn't be fined at all. And I'm glad there are now parameters put in place for where the drivers are not allowed to swear. Because they're adults. They should be swearing. If they want to swear, they should be allowed. Now they kind of are. On to the next article. The FIA president, Ben Sulayem, is trying to add a vetting process to become FIA president. Basically, Ben Sulayem is trying to add a new vetting process for the FIA president-elects ahead of the December 2025 election. The vetting process will be controlled by Sulayem and would include things like a candidate cannot have anything on their record that calls into question on their professional integrity. In civil terms, no conflicts of interest, and this, I feel, is directly related to Carlos Sainz Sr. trying to become the FIA president at this next election. The vetting process, I didn't say it here, but it's also, I did. It is literally controlled by Salam. So he will basically get to choose who he is running against. If you don't know Carlos Sainz Sr., he is a rally car driver in the World Rally Championship, I believe, and his son is Carlos Sainz, F1 driver for Williams. I get there is a conflict of interest there, but at the end of the day, I think it would be easier to work with the FIA if Carlos Sainz Sr. was the FIA president, because Carlos is on the Formula One, what is it called? The Drivers Association. He's the vice president of the Drivers Association. So it would be easier to work with the FIA on rules and regulations for the sport. But who knows? I think Salam is pulling just a complete bad power move, and I don't like it. I don't like the feeling this is giving me. This is giving 2024 presidential election. It's no. Anyway, onto our IndyCar news. Joseph Newgarden and Will Power and Penske penalized for illegal car modifications. During Sunday's Fast 12 qualifying, both Newgarden and Power were pulled from the session after an issue was discovered with the rear attenuate of Newgarden's car. The same issue existed on Power's car, and Penske attempted to fix it in the pit lane. For the punishment, Newgarden and Power were sent to the back of the grid for the Indy 500, and the team strategists were suspended for both cars, and each entry was fined $100,000. They will also forfeit their qualifying points. Now, the third Penske car, Scott McLaughlin is the third one, and he didn't have any issues on his car, which is weird. That's weird to me. Why do two of them have it, but one of them don't? But Newgarden was your 2023 and 2024 IndyCar or Indy 500 winner, and his title defense. I say title defense because it's the Indy 500, but his race defense for the Indy 500 is not looking so good. You are sent to the back of the grid. Can he come back? Of course. It's Joseph Newgarden, man. But it's sad. Penske they like to cheat. I don't know how else to say it. It seems like they like to cheat, and that's not good. They also own IndyCar, so there should be no reason you are cheating or putting a illegal car. You own the series. You should be able to, you have so much money, and yet you're cheating. I do want to point out, though, to Pato O'Ward fans on social media, they are trying to make it seem like they cheated last year. And to my knowledge, they did not cheat last year. Penske and Newgarden, I mean. A lot of Pato fans are online saying, oh my god, Pato got robbed last year. He was so sad after the race. Newgarden cheated. No, he didn't. I'm sorry to tell you, he didn't. Newgarden was able to pass pre- and post-race inspection, and they would have found this issue on pre- or post-race inspection. This isn't, they don't just gloss over certain things. They look at the car and make sure it's legal. Newgarden's car was legal last year. This year, not so much. Probably because they have no speed whatsoever on the track. The first, 4 or 5 races, whatever the IndyCars had, they have no speed pretty much. And they cheated to try to get more speed, and they got caught. But they did not cheat in 2023 or 2024. Now on to your race recaps. NASCAR, they have the All-Star race. I'm not going to lie. This is the second week in a row that I didn't watch any racing. I was with family all weekend in North Carolina, and I didn't have a chance to watch any racing besides F1. So, sorry. But the All-Star race took place. Christopher Bell finished in first. Joey Logano, my GOAT, in second. Ross Chastain in third. Alex Bowman in fourth. Chase Elliott in fifth. William Byron sixth. Tyler Reddick seventh. Kyle Busch in 8th, Chase Briscoe in 9th, and Chris Buescher in 10th. Now, there are only 23 drivers, because it is the All-Star race, so a lot of drivers didn't make it. But Daniel Suarez DNF'd, Brad Keselowski DNF'd, and Kyle Larson was the last driver to not DNF. He finished first. Good shit. But yeah, I heard it was a good race all around, but yeah. Bell won. I was sad. I really wanted Logano to win, but Bell won. And there's no points going on for this race either. There's no points. This is just for fun. So, yeah, this actually was taken an hour, 2 hours away from where I was staying in North Carolina. So, yeah. Their next race is at the Coca-Cola 600, Sunday, May 25th at 6 p.m. at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jack has given me his predictions, so I do have his predictions. NASCAR Cup, Jack predicts Larson. Good pick if he makes it. Now, my prediction, it is Charlotte. I'm going to go with what I think is the hot hand, and I'm going to pick Joey Logano because I like Joey. He's my favorite driver. So, well, second to Bubba in NASCAR. But he's my Connecticut King, so I got Joey winning in Charlotte. The next race that took place, well, actually, this took place before, but you had the Truck Series race. Chandler Smith was in first, Lane Riggs in second, Tyler Ingram in third, Daniel Hemrick in fourth, Grant Enfinger in five, Ty Majeski in sixth, Gio Ruggiero in seventh, Caden Honeycutt in eighth, Kyle Busch in ninth, Sammy Smith in 10th. Other notable names, Roger Cruth in 15th, Corey Heim in 17th, Tony Bradinger in 20th. Your DNFs were Tomasi, Roulette, White, and Benning, but yeah, I also didn't get to watch this race. We were actually driving up. We were flying to North Carolina. We missed our flight. Or we didn't miss our flight. Our flight got canceled. So we drove up, or drove down to North Carolina. But we were in the car when this race was taking place, and I was sleeping because I was still really tired. So, my bad. But yeah, Busch did not win, which is crazy, because it's Kyle Busch. But, yeah, good win for Chandler Smith. That's about it. Top 10 was cool. Yeah. The next truck race is the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Friday, May 23rd at 8:30 p.m. Jack didn't give a prediction, but I will give my prediction. And it's not going to be Corey Heim. All right, so Chastain and Busch. I'm going to go with Watermelon Man. You know what? I need to win. Hopefully, if he wins, he will throw a watermelon. That's what I hope. So I'm going to go with Ross Chastain in Charlotte for the Truck Series. All right, now we're going to do our final NASCAR series because although they didn't have a race last week, they haven't actually had a race since May 3rd. It's the BetMGM 300, Saturday, May 24th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time at, again, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, I'm going to predict William Byron. Byron's running the 17 in the Xfinity Series. I am going to go with Byron. He's fast. He's good. One of the best Cup drivers out right now. And when he goes into the lower series, he kicks ass. So I'm going to go with Byron. That's an easy pickings. Now on to IndyCar. The IndyCar has the Indianapolis 500. 109th Indianapolis 500, which is nuts. That it's had 109 years of it. May 25th is when it is. At, let's see, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. They have a pre-race at 10, which I don't know why you need 2 hours of pre-race, but it's at 12. So, yeah. Robert Schwartzman, I was going to talk about this for one of the news articles, but Robert Schwartzman took pole position at his first ever oval. And Prima's first ever oval. This is Prima's first ever year in IndyCar, their first ever oval, and Robert Schwartzman takes them the pole position, which is nuts. You had Taku Sato on the first row middle and Pato O'Ward on the first row outside. Now, Jack's prediction for IndyCar is Sato. Jack's is Takumo Sato. Mine, Pato O'Ward. You gotta go Pato O'Ward at this point. He needs a win. He needs a win. He was so close for like pretty much the past 2 years. He's been really close. So if it's anyone but Pato, I will be sad. Like genuinely, I will be sad. And there's no new Garden to take it away from him in the last second. So I'm going to go Pato for that one. That's pretty easy. And onto our final recap. You have the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, aka the Imola Grand Prix. 3 words. Max Verstappen Masterclass. Max took pole. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Oscar took pole. Then I believe it was Max, then it was George, and then it was Lando. McLaren had terrible strategy this race, like awful strategy, as Lando Norris finishes above Piastri in second and Piastri obviously in third. Lewis Hamilton made his way up to fourth and was kind of hunted down Piastri at the end of the Piastri on very, very used tires. Your DNFs were Esteban Ocon and, sadly, at his home race, Kimi Antonelli. No driver got lapped, though there were 2 safety cars, so if you got lapped, there is a massive issue there. Your remaining top 10 was Albon in 5th, Charles in 6th, George in 7th, Carlos Sainz in 8th, Isaac Hadjar in 9th, and Yuki Tsunoda in the points in 10th, which is nice to see. Yeah, it's alright. Colapinto crashed during quali, which isn't new, like he likes to crash the car a lot. But yeah, Max Verstappen Masterclass. I mean, he led I think, every lap of the race. I mean, there was a safety car that came late with like 10-ish laps left, I think is when the safety car came in, and he dropped 6 seconds on Lando Norris's head when Lando was on fresh tires. Like, that's gross. I think Max also might have pitted, but still, like, Max Verstappen massacred. Like, I don't, like, it was nuts. And that overtake he had on lap one was disgusting. That might be the best overtake I have ever seen in my life. Like, it was nuts. Anyway, you have the Monaco Grand Prix this Sunday, May 25th at 9 a.m. Now, Jack's prediction for Monaco. Max Verstappen. My prediction. See, this is interesting for me. You know what? Screw it. He broke the curse. We're going with Charles Leclerc. He's going back to back. And here's the thing. I understand he doesn't have that good of a car. I understand that there's like 4 other cars that are faster than that Ferrari. But it's Charles Leclerc. In his home race. You know he wants to perform well. You know he's determined to win. He just broke the curse last year. Charles Leclerc is going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. If not Charles, then Oscar. Realistically, it's going to probably be Max or Oscar for the rest of the year. Lando might put in a win or two here and there, but I mean, I'm going Charles because I need Charles to just do so well for Ferrari. Anyway, I believe that is it for today's podcast. It is very quick because I don't have Jack to yap with me. But yeah, that's it for today's podcast. Tune in next week. I think it'll be me again. Just me again. But yeah, tune in next week for another episode of ApexToOval. Thank you guys for watching or listening. And yeah, have an amazing day.